You've probably felt it before, the quiet pressure that sits on your chest when you check your bank account after a long day. Maybe it's the rent looming, an unexpected bill, or just the nagging thought that no matter how much you earn, it never seems to be enough. You pause, take a deep breath, and somewhere deep down, you wonder, what if part of my life's expenses could arrive without me showing up every single day? That thought is simple, almost invisible, but it's quietly powerful. My name is Anderson, and I've spent over 15 years working directly with investments, dividends, and personal financial strategies. I've seen people trapped in cycles of paycheck dependence, and the same people 10 years later quietly transformed when they let money work for them rather than the other way around. Today, I want to walk you through a step-by-step approach to earning reliable monthly income through 5 dividend-paying stocks, a strategy that could, over time, cover major living expenses like rent and change how you feel about money entirely. Most people believe financial freedom begins with a huge salary, a promotion, or the perfect investment. That belief keeps them tied to jobs they dislike and routines that barely cover their needs. The truth is different. Independence begins when money starts moving toward you automatically. When a portion of your essential expenses no longer depends entirely on your labor. Monthly dividend stocks offer exactly this predictable, steady income. You don't need millions, insider information, or perfect timing. You only need a foundation 5 carefully selected, reliable stocks that pay dividends monthly. Alone, each payout might feel small, but together, they create a stream of cash that gradually transforms your mindset and your life. Most people live in survival mode. Every expense triggers tension. Unexpected bills feel like crises. Decisions are reactive, influenced by scarcity and fear. Stress dominates behavior. When you begin building a dividend portfolio, even modest monthly payments, perhaps a few $100s, create subtle shifts. You start noticing options where there were only problems before. You gain mental space to think strategically rather than reactively. This is the smaller, unexpected turning point, the invisible threshold where money begins to relieve stress rather than magnify it. You haven't achieved financial freedom yet, but you've crossed the point where your mindset begins to change. Once you reach this threshold, momentum starts to build. The first $500 a month in dividends begins to feel real. You notice bills don't trigger the same anxiety. You have a buffer. Decisions about spending, work, and even minor emergencies are no longer colored by panic. This is the power of small, consistent income streams. They rewire your relationship with money without flashy headlines or hype. It's not luck, it's discipline, patience, and consistency. Think of it like learning to ride a bike. At first, every pedal feels uncertain, but once you find the rhythm, momentum takes over. That's how compounding and steady dividend growth work. Let's make this concrete. 5 stocks, each with $20,000 invested, totaling $100,000, at an average annual dividend yield of 4%, produces about $330 per month. It may not fully cover rent yet, but it changes the way you perceive financial pressure. Add $500 monthly contributions per stock, reinvest dividends, and over 10 years, the portfolio could realistically produce $1,500 to $2,000 per month in dividends. The effect grows steadily and predictably. This is acceleration, not overnight success, but compounding, consistent action producing tangible outcomes. The psychological transformation is profound. In survival mode, a car repair, medical bill, or rent increase feels catastrophic. Scarcity dominates thought. In growth mode, these same events are manageable. You pause, assess, and respond deliberately. Stressful situations remain, but they no longer control your decisions. Mental bandwidth expands, and you can make strategic choices rather than being trapped by circumstance. Opportunities and emergencies are no longer blurred. Career decisions, housing moves, or side projects can be pursued from strength, not desperation. Identity shifts quietly but decisively. By maintaining disciplined contributions, reinvesting dividends, and ignoring market noise, you become someone who trusts delayed gratification and strategic planning. You are no longer defined by scarcity. You are defined by your actions and the systems you've created. Confidence grows not because of a single payout, but because you understand the principles that generate predictable results. Walking away money emerges. Even partial independence grants leverage in negotiations and choices, whether professional or personal. Posture, calm decision making, and measured authority naturally follow. But milestones are not rewards, they are seeds. Lifestyle inflation, a new car, or an upgraded apartment can erode the very foundation you've built. Every dollar spent on non productive assets is opportunity deferred. Opportunity cost is emotionally and financially real. Every $50,000 spent unnecessarily could have generated $2,000 annually in dividends at a 4% yield. Multiply this across multiple decisions, and the difference over 10 years is massive. This is not judgment, it is clarity. Every decision carries consequences for your future freedom. Big decisions overshadow small ones. Once your dividend portfolio produces meaningful monthly income, daily minor expenses, coffee, meals, small purchases fade into insignificance. What matters are life-level choices, housing, transportation, career, and investment decisions that compound over years. You begin evaluating each decision through its long-term impact, not short-term convenience. This is how financial independence reshapes thinking, not by accumulating wealth quickly, but by gradually giving you control over life itself. By the end of 10 years, assuming discipline and reinvestment, a portfolio like this could realistically generate $2,500 to $3,000 per month. Rent, bills, and small emergencies become manageable. You make decisions from strength. Stress no longer dictates behavior. You have options, leverage, and confidence. The subtle but profound shift from survival mode to growth mode becomes unmistakable. You are no longer reacting to life's pressures. You are designing the way you move through them. Quietly, consistently, this is the power of monthly dividend stocks. They are more than financial instruments. They are tools that reshape your mindset, identity, and behavior. Patience, discipline, and time do the work while you learn to act deliberately rather than react out of fear. You cultivate optionality, resilience, and confidence. 10 years from now, your future self will look back and thank you, not because you became rich overnight, but because you quietly built a foundation that allowed freedom, breathing room, and peace of mind. My name is Anderson, and if you start today, thoughtfully, deliberately, and consistently, you'll experience that transformation. You'll see how small, steady income streams can reshape your life over time, allowing you to move from surviving paycheck to designing a life with freedom and choice. It's not flashy, it's not hype, it's real. And it works if you trust the process and remain disciplined. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next video.